Hi, it's Lisa from Two Garden Girlies. I wanted to show you some more of my peonies that are in bloom. These are also Ito peonies, not Bartzella. I had shown you some yellow Bartzella that were not blooming yet, but will be soon in a previous video. This is Julia Rose Ito. What I didn't mention in my last video was that, like with all perennials actually, have you heard the term sleep, creep, leap? So the first year, perennials will sleep. They'll establish their root system, they leaf out, they may have some buds on them, but they're really kind of working under the ground, getting stronger. And then in the second year, they creep. They start to creep and they get a little bigger and they get a little fuller and they have a few more blooms, but they're really still not at maturity. It takes a perennial 3 years to be at maturity. And then by the third year, you should see what it's going to do for you. So with the Bartzella yellow peonies, the first year I bought those, I had one bloom on each plant. The second year, I had 2 blooms on each plant, and I thought, oh man, am I ever going to get what I'm expecting, But you have to be patient. So by last year, which was the third year, I had 15 blooms on each plant. I went from 1 and then 2 to 15. And this year, the fourth year, I have about 20 blooms on each plant. So patience is a virtue, and it really does pay off. So these Julia Rose Ito peonies are 2 years old. So the first year I had like 4 or 5 blooms on them. This year I have about 6. And so next year I expect them to be a bush full of blooms. So let me show you them. So this is Julia Rose. She's so pretty. She's more of an antique pink, I find. She starts off darker pink, and she's very translucent. Like, I love the back side of her, too, and the underneath, if you can see it, because she's almost transparent. So these blooms right here, these buds, are, well, let's see. This is probably the oldest because it's the most faded, and this is probably yesterday. I hope you can see it, where it gets pinker. Here's a second Julia Rose, but as you can see, the bud on this one is darker pink. And then here's a bud that opened today. So you can see that this bud is much pinker than the first set. And so that's what I love about her. She changes color, and she's definitely like an antique pink color, which I think is very cool. So I'll back up so you can see the 3. So I have 3 of them. 1 right there, and then this one, and then this one. I just think she's really pretty. So picture her next year with a whole blanket of these Julia Rose peonies right here. I think it'll be really, really beautiful. That's Julia Rose. Thought I would share that with you, and I'll see you in the garden.